Alright, NT8 down at the busted knuckle talking to the Indian. Today we're going to talk about PCV valves. Theory and design of what we think, and he confirms it with me. They run that crankcase exhaust back into the airbox in order to reburn it because it's an emission thing.
Yep.
And what my thinking is, in a year and a half when Barbie's out of warranty, I'm going to get something like this. Actually, I'm going to start working on that very soon. And we're going to figure out a way to do that. But the discussion is, are we thinking along the right lines? Is that the correct way of thinking, that it's reburning the gas that's coming out of the engine to make it more green?
It'd be efficient as far as exhaust is, but it would also relieve some pressure. Might be missing something, I don't know, but I am thinking that, like you are, seriously,
that it's overpressurizing inside the tank.
Yeah.
But assuming this thing is working, and assuming that the long run of the hose to the airbox, somewhere in there is freezing with condensation and oil, the mayonnaise thing.
Yeah.
If we made it shorter and kept it closer to the engine,
It'd be less chance
of it freezing.
Yeah, because it's like the longer the drain in the wintertime, the more it's going to freeze. The shorter, it would still stay, you know what I'm saying, warm. You know, like a drain in a sink or something goes underground. Or.
And I'm going to insert right here the video of the length of run and the lack of shielding that it has in its route to the airbox, and how high it has to go to get to the airbox, which is, I would say,
you're forcing up through.
I would say it's a 1 foot rise,
yeah.
And the length is probably 1.5 to 2 feet long.
Now, if you shorten that, which could be done, seriously.
Yeah, I know.
And it would cut down.
Then that actual exhaust coming out of the engine that's already heated has less chance for it to freeze.
Yeah, because condensation wouldn't build up in the longer line. The longer the line, condensation has a chance, you know, cool down and build up, and the shorter line would keep it.
Shorter line, and we put it closer to the engine.
Yeah, to keep the warmth going into it.
So the other thing I'm thinking is if I can come up with a T valve and switch it from winter to summer modes. I mean, summer mode, I can allow it to vacate into the airbox, because I did 5,000 miles this past summer, and it did fine.
You know them valves like they got on fish aquariums, run different.
Well, yeah, they got them for
anything.
Water.
Yeah, you can turn them on and off. So you just turn it off and let it run, you know.
Let it route into the airbox, and then wintertime, switch them.
Yeah.
So it goes to the PCV valve. And I wanted you to hear this. This is how this works if you're not familiar.
That old pop off, old valve.
And I could have it drain I guess directly onto the skid plate. That way I'd see what the hell's coming out.
Yeah.
Rather than going into the air box.
It'd be like draining the bottom of a compressor, let the water out. Because the condensation builds up and you gotta drain the compressor.
Right.
That one's got one on it, right? You just turn it, drains, because condensation builds up.
Right,
You
I've
drain the tank.
got my own air compressors. Yeah, I'm fully aware of that.
Because it does build up.
So I think that's where we're at, but until my warranty expires,
It's kind of untouchable.
I'm not going to fix it.
What's that old TV show, The Untouchables?
Yeah, I watch that every night.
Yeah, that's kind of like it is right now.
Comes on at 11:30 at night
Yeah.
on MeTV. I think it's MeTV.
Me TV. Yeah, it's just like, well, they got like a dryer vent for your dryer. They got it so you can, it's got a vent in it, but it's also got a net on it so you can heat your basement with it. If your dryer's in the basement, you can pump it so it goes straight outside. It switches one way or the other. So that's more.
They make those that go into a 5-gallon bucket that you fill with water,
Yeah.
and it catches all the lint by hitting the water surface.
Like the old Rainbow air vacuum cleaners. They had that water tank in the bottom. Remember, you put about this much water in it to catch all the dirt and stuff.
I'm not a vacuum cleaner guy.
Well, this for people that used to suck. They remember this.
Like a Honda?
Yeah.
Yeah. I put a Honda decal on it because I wanted it to suck more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of went down. went poop.
So that's pretty much the conclusion me and the Indian have come up with. Feel free to shoot holes in it. I don't really see an issue with that train of thought. A 2.5, 3 foot run for the evacuation hose by BMW factory is, put it bluntly, it's fucking stupid with a 1 foot rise. So that means any overpressurization has to push it up and back in order to make that stop. So that's our thinking, that's where we're going to go, and
it's a process of elimination. Experiment and elimination.
I will, I guess I'll go down and start buying parts for it tomorrow. The only problem is I can't undo the hose because it's got those quote BMW clamps on there that I can't just take off and get the ID of the inner diameter of the hose they use. So that's kind of a monkey wrench into the entire deal, but
we can figure it out.
Yeah, we've dealt with that enough friggin' times.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting somewhere, dude. I think we pretty much solved it.
See, it's like on the semi in the summertime, they got a valve on for the heated coil. You can turn the water off, or you can turn it on, but they got a bypass valve, so it won't pass through there, but it won't blow everything.
Right. So that's kind of like what we're looking at. And any input you want to give us, we'll be more than happy to accept. And
yes, we will.
We'll kick it around Finding these valve is going to take a little doing, but neither of us are afraid of it.
The only thing I'm scared of is warm shit when I step in it. Other than that, I ain't worried of nothing.
There's nothing warm here today. Well, actually, it's 54 degrees, so.
That cat paw out there was still soft.
That's right, I buried it in the sand.
Good man.
Because the sand wasn't froze.
Good man, Toto. Toto, my buddy, covered it up. Yeah, I think that'll, seriously.
1 foot up and 2 feet back.
You cut down the distance from where condensation can get in it and have a problem.
But I think this is going to work. It's just I wish I could make BMW undumbass themselves, but obviously not. And he explained the drain line in the airbox to me. And I tell you what, I'm seriously considering going with a longer line that reaches all the way down and just unplugging that bitch, because that makes absolutely no sense to me to put a plug in a drain and it's not going to work for me in the wintertime when shit freezes up.
If you got air flowing around, the condensation is going to seize up quick. I mean, even with the heat off the motor, but the shorter the run, you got less chance, and you got heat going to it because it's still warm coming out.
So, in theory, I can actually use something like this if I can point it down. No.
The other end.
But it works both ways if I got it upside down.
Yeah.
So I need one that's whatever, doesn't matter. We'll figure it out.
We always have.
Or actually, I probably don't even need a PVC valve in the wintertime. So hopefully when I get the manual, I'll see if there is an actual valve inside the engine to evacuate the pressure.
It'd be like one in the transmission. You know, they got the cap on transmission. Even in your rear
That's a good point. Explain that one.
On your transmission, it builds heat up, and they do have a like a plastic or a metal deal on it. It'll like pop off and release the heat. They do have them in rear ends too on your vehicles. You check it, you'll see them. That they have it's like a valve with a little floating cap on it, but the cap will pop off like in a hot water heater. It'll pop off enough to let
not pop off and
stay off. It just releases the pressure and then it'll seal itself again.
Which is how a PCV valve works. There's enough pressure built up that it lifts the little valve inside of here, which allows it to evacuate. And I've never seen one of these freeze in the wintertime.
No. Even the ones in transmission, you'll see them come out where they have them in transmission, they have them in rear ends. They get warm and they have a little release valve. It looks like a little floating cap.
And then it's got the cap he's talking about is
like
here, I'll use something extravagant. That sits on top, and then when the pressure builds up, it lifts it, and like then the pressure escapes.
It's like a top on a pressure cooker.
Yeah, we've talked about that on videos. Yeah. But the issue, I don't know that this is a concern, but I don't know what the pressure is inside of it. So that's why I'm looking at a PCV valve. I mean,
It's like
it can't be,
a whole bunch. But
it can't be that much
But there's enough pressure in there
to open the valve and let the overpressurization out. And I think that's the way we're going to have to go.
They have them on transmissions. You look at them, and they have them on rear ends. Rear end of the vehicle does have them.
So everybody
The heat builds up.
everybody that's throwing ideas out, I appreciate it. And I've talked with the engine, and we do things old school. So it's a matter of me and the engine trying to figure out, okay, how can we do this?
We talking old school.
It is old school, because I doubt any vehicle
I know.
made in 2012 doesn't. I was talking to Chuck today, and remember the valve, or the PCV valve that went into the valve cover on the old schools? On the 302 engine.
Yeah.
That hose came up, and where did it go?
Right in the carburetor to suck the fuel back, the gas.
It went into the
base plate of the carburetor.
the breather.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Where the
some
air
had the
filter
breather,
is.
and some had them in the back of the carburetor, but suck it back through.
And then it had that little Brillo pad to catch the large chunks of oil.
Yep.
So you'd always have an oil ring around the inside of your old school.
That or some carbon broke off.
What the fuck did they call that? You had the spinner nut on top. You spun that off, and then you take the lid off, and there's the air filter, and in the center was the carburetor.
Yeah.
And then it had an air horn that normally had a hose that ran up to the front of the engine, and your air went in there.
It relieved the pressure out of the crankcase and run it back through the motor, and relieve some of the pressure, so you wouldn't.
So that way it was reburning the gases that were already burned inside the crankcase.
But some of them don't burn, so.
But like Chuck said, on a hot rod or a racing engine, you didn't necessarily do that. You could just put the PVC in there and let it go wherever the fuck it went.
Yep.
So, alright, this one's long enough. And comments, criticisms, better ideas, I'll take them all.
Ideas, let us know. Right now we're in the process of thinking, and we're going with this for a while. And whatever you throw in is good.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll take it all.
And we'll kick it around and beat that horse. And one of these days, I'm going to bring a laptop down, and we're going to do a live hangout with the engine, which I haven't discussed with him yet. But
you want to do that?
We'll yeah, you can do that. And we'll. I'm not going to plan it in advance or anything.
It's just going to happen.
Well, I'll just do it, and we'll try and do it. Oh, probably 4 o'clock state time, which would be, no, that's 10 o'clock UK time. 7. We'll try and do it about 1 o'clock in the afternoon my time, which would be 7 o'clock UK time. And
it's always day somewhere.
But all right, NT8 at the Buzzed Knuckle. We'll catch you later. Let's see how bad this came out. Yeah, that should work.